Welcome to the Hawks Talk podcast. All things Blackburn Hawks.
In behind the defence, cuts around, scores! Blackburn Hawks win this game 8 goals to 5.
All the latest news, player interviews and much more.
Shoots, scores!
Hawks Talk.
Joining myself and Aidan on the 21st episode of the Hawks Talk podcast, we have co-owner of the Blackburn Hawks, Graham Lomax. Graham, how are you?
I'm all right now. I haven't been, have I?
No, I'm going to say back 100% fit. You've missed a couple of games this season, which isn't like you, is it?
No, it's not. No, I'm probably operating at about 90% at minute, but I'm 100 times better than what I was.
That's good. I mean, allegedly, you've got no weakness, have you? So,
well, it has been said by me normally.
Yeah, it is usually you, to be fair. How are you, Aidan?
I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing good. So it's nice to get back on podcast since we had Darren on last time, and I didn't realise it were a 21st one. So, happy 21st to us on the way that we've been going.
That's a good number, isn't it?
It is. It's a great number to get them all going. It's nice to have joined on as well. I had that pleasure to come and speak to people and talk about hockey, really.
Good stuff. So let's get straight into it then, and we'll talk about the season so far. We're only 9 games in, so still lots of hockey to be played. 15 points, 5 wins and 4 losses. Tell us your opinion on how the season started then, Graham.
I think we're all a bit disappointed, really, aren't we, with the results more than anything. I don't think... I said this to Dom the other day, that, look, listen, you'll know when I'm fed up and I'm in a mood because I'll not speak to you and I'll go home and my toys will come out pram. And I haven't done that yet, you know what I mean? So I haven't got to that yet. So it's not all doom and gloom. I think we all know we've got a decent roster. You don't become a bad team overnight, do you? And the plan is to finish top 3 or 4, top 2. That hasn't changed. And we've got to not lose sight of that either. So, listen, everything else is going great. So the results just haven't been what they should be. But I think everybody deep down in the league knows we've got a good team. And I think Sunday night proved that somebody, inevitably and eventually was going to get a good hiding off us. And it came Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you say about them results not going the best, do you think anything's attributed to it? Do you think like it's been changing of lines and, a couple getting used to playing back? I mean, we've obviously just introduced Andy McKinney this weekend as well. We had Noah played a couple of games with us and left, and we've obviously lost Ben McClellan as well. So do you think like Dom sets up and then obviously has to swap things around? Do you think that could have caused some unrest? Or do you just think it's other teams recruiting well? Do you have any answers?
I don't think anybody's really recruited and made the team stronger, to be honest with you. I think there's an argument to say that we have. We've added the 2 young boys in, who certainly gives another dimension. No, I just think circumstances always dictate. There's always mitigating factors, a lot of moving parts. We have chopped and changed a bit with lines, and I think we struggled on the back end, to be honest with you, this year. I think we've looked... Pua Sam's ended up back there. We signed him as a forward, so we've got to be careful of not pointing any fingers anywhere. But I think circumstances always dictate, and let things settle down. And when things do eventually settle down, and we've chopped and changed with lines a little bit. It does take time for people to settle in. And like I say, one thing that I don't do from experience is I certainly won't be hitting that panic button.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we say, we've got the young lads as well. Just coming on to like the 2-way and 3-way thing. I mean, do you think that could affect us in any way? I mean, obviously, Noah's done that. I think we've got 4 of the lads. We've got the luxury of having 3 netminders anyway. We've got Bailey on a 2-way, Josh with Blackburn and Manchester. I think we've got Dara with Bradford and Sheffield as well as ourselves. And I think Liam's with Bradford and ourselves. Does that affect us, or do you just think it makes us better or gives the lad a better chance? Or
I think we've got to be careful how we manage, the young lads, but we've also got to consider that, burnout could be a factor. We don't know, time will tell. But as young as they are, some of these lads, like for example, Josh played right through the summer. He's training 4 days a week with Storm, and I think we've just got to be wary of that. In terms of burning kids out. And my experience, anyway, is that I think everybody needs a break away. If you're playing sport constantly, I think you need that little bit of downtime. I think you need to get away from the sport now and again. And as much as we encourage these lads to come and train and play all the time, I don't know. It isn't necessarily that good of a thing, if you know what I mean by that. We do have to be wary of that, and I think we do need to maybe consider it. But I think there's enough talent with them alone to get them through that. If that is the case, so to speak.
Fantastic. So that's that. I mean, next one is, I mean, obviously we've had our own big changes in the club this summer with Carl stepping down and Darren, Steve and Scott coming on. I mean, obviously when Carl approached that situation, how did that make you feel? Was that like oh sugar, I've got to take on a full ice hockey team on my own? Or were you relishing the prospect of going as a sole trader? Or was it a case of, I need a bit of help here?
No, it was always, I was always going to need some help. My skill set for what it is only goes so far, and anybody that knows me well enough will tell you that admin isn't my strong suit, or IT certainly isn't my strong suit. my strong suit's front of house. So when Carl decided to walk away, the people that I approached, listen, I didn't come down with last rain shower. I've known these people a long time. I know what their skill set is. I know what they bring, their experience, their business acumen, their counsel. They're absolutely fantastic people. And again, like I said to you before, I speak to Dom probably every day, and just outlining where we're at with the club at the minute. And I think we're in a really, really good, vibrant place. And I can't thank the lads enough that came on board as directors and co-owners with me for helping it out. And we do get on really, really well. We all have wicked sense of humour. We all speak daily. We all bring our own skill set. And it's like with anything when you go into it, it takes time to settle down. I think we're at that stage now where everybody's found their role. We know who does what within the business. We all dovetail very well. And even saying that, like looking in it further afield, I think people like Nicole coming on board, the work that Nicole does with the socials and Luke. And I just think overall, including you two guys and Lance and everybody else and Shelley with the community, I think we're in a really, really good, vibrant place. And I all consider us all part of the same team. And I think we're doing really well. And I think things are going from strength to strength.
Yeah, I mean, how I don't know if this has been asked before when you've been on, but how did you come about actually owning your own ice hockey club? Was it like a franchise type of thing, or was it Planet Ice basically said, we don't want anything to do with the ice hockey team. There's this chance for you and Carl to take it on in the initial instance. Or how'd you go about doing it?
Well, I don't know whether people know the full story or not, but I will tell you the story if you want, but I'll try not to bore you to death in the meantime. Obviously, I've been in and around Blackburn Ice Arena since 1996, 97. Various roles, starting out as kit manager, going up to assistant coach, general manager, media manager. I've always come and gone in that time. There's always been something that's not sat very well with me, and the person that I am, as you two guys know me well enough now, I am the type of person that I will speak my mind. I'm known for my honesty. Well, listen, I'm known for my honesty, and there was many a time where I would voice my opinion, usually over social media. I try to stay away these days from social media if I can. I think it can be great too, but at the same time, I try not to get embroiled in arguments. Voice my opinion about the club and how it was run, and me personally, I put my name to something. It has to be the best that it could be. I couldn't associate myself with the club at certain times, which was run akin to a Sunday League pub team, and I would voice my opinion. Then when Planet Ice took it over, out of the blue, I got a phone call, somebody high up in Planet Ice asking me if I would be interested in taking over the team and taking it away from Planet Ice and running it as a third party. I dipped my toe in previously a couple of times, had meetings about it before, never really got it going, but this time it was more serious. Formed a company with Carl, took it on, and here we are, 5 years later? and things are going from strength to strength. So no, it's good. It's good to be able to, something you're so passionate about and being able to influence it rather than bang your head against a brick wall.
Have your expectations been exceeded from when you first signed along that dotted line? Do you think you've done more in them 5 years, or is everything on plan as you see it? Everyone, they've got like a 3, 5, 10 year plan. Is everything as it should be for you, or are we exceeding that a little bit more?
I think the main thing for me when I took this business on was that, listen, I'm a proud person, and I want the club to be the best version of itself it can be. And that isn't necessarily going into the National League where we're all going to be bankrupt, and that wouldn't be good for anybody. So I think that the main aim of the club has always been to get stability, get that pride back in yourselves, get people through the door, turn out a product that everybody can get behind and get involved with and be proud of. And I think we're still on that. I think if we've said this many a time before, if we were winning the league year in, year out, then you'd have to look at pretty much like Solway, what they're doing. But we haven't got there yet, and we haven't reached that. We're not league champions yet, and whether that happens this year or next year, that's got to be a long-term objectives. But it was very nice last year to come away with the silverware that we did, and I think the club as a whole is trending in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, I think as well, you alluded to it earlier on about, a defence as well. Have we got any plans to bring any new D-men in? Is there anything in the water, or are we just going to firefight with what we've got for the time being? Can you shed anything on that?
No, because I don't get involved in team affairs. That's down to Dom and all. I wouldn't. Every time I get involved in team affairs, if I'm asked my opinion on something, then I'll give it all, and then I keep it to myself.
No worries. That's fine. So obviously, like the fans this season as well, they've been quite vocal on Facebook and other social media things. I mean, we've done, I think, what we've asked for. They didn't like our entrance tune, and we changed that back, and we've done that. Is that something else? Have you been listening a bit more to fans to provide a bit more on that product, or is it just something that we've seen and
I think you're
identified
right.
ourselves?
I think historically, Stubb and Graham would have said, no, we're not changing it, and it's my way, and that's what's happening. I think over time, you learn to listen to people. And like I said to you before, I've also learned not to engage with idiots on social media because it's not healthy, it's not productive, it's stressful. So, people can speculate all they want on anything, and listen, for what it is, it's not worth the aggro, and I'm not getting embroiled in it. So, no, I like people having an opinion on the club, and if it's viable and it's going to improve us and we can do it, then we'll do it. But I can't just climb up a ladder and clean banners because somebody asked me to. It takes a bit more to it than that. But anything we can do, we will do.
Speaking on your music taste, not a lot of people know this, but it was you that chose that tune, wasn't it, for the entrance?
It was. Yeah, it was, mate. Yeah. You won't believe, well, you would because you know me well enough, how much time I spend looking at stuff and what works for us and what doesn't work for us. And, we spoke many times and you've chopped and changed stuff for me with music and things like that. So, it's not just done on a whim. There's a lot of time put into every facet of what we do.
Yeah. I think we've all given our own little personal feedbacks, but like you said, Stubb and Graham stands tall, don't you?
Well, no, I think you've got to as you get a little bit old, you've got to take in counsel sometimes and listen to it. And listen, you always have to take it on board, but it's nice to have a different opinion to yours. I think that's why the club at the minute works so well, because they've got great counsel, and there's 5 of us that make decisions, and democracy will always rule.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So how do you balance the business side of owning a team with ensuring that players and fans have the best experience possible as well? How does that work?
I was going to say it's hard, but it isn't. It's just simple economics, isn't it? It's like any business. It's like my business or anybody else's. You've got to have more money coming in than going out. Otherwise, you haven't got a business. The unfortunate thing is, obviously, with us being tenants at Blackburn Arena, it's a big, expensive building to look after, and our ice time costs. I don't know what everybody else pays, but I bet ours are more than anybody else's. So, we rely solely on us going out in summertime, which is the busiest time of year for me personally, and the rest of the directors getting sponsorship where everybody else has got their feet up in Ibiza. We're working the socks off trying to bring new sponsors in, and like you said, there you've got to balance that with when's the right time to put the ticket price up. When's the right time to set the budget? What is the budget? How many people do we coming through the door to be able to pay the wage bill, to be able to pay the coach bill? It's hard, it's difficult. But again, what I would say is that people that are around me at the minute have lots and lots of business acumen in terms of forecasts and projections, and it's great. It's not something that it's not my skill set, but the support and the counsel that I get within that is, I don't know whether I'm seen as the leader or not. I don't know. We're all equal. We're all directors. But it's good. It's good. It's good to be involved in a business that's going in the right direction. And, long may it continue. It's great at the minute.
With owning the club, there's lots of obvious costs, like you mentioned, ice time, equipment, personnel. But what is one cost that people might not necessarily associate that's quite an impact?
Coach travel, it's simple. We're lucky that we have, and if they're listening and they're hearing this, great, we probably have the best coach company around. They get it, they understand it, there's a bit of flexibility built into it. We understand each other, they're helpful, they do sponsorship with us, the vehicles are first class. But like most companies, travel's gone through the roof. Our bill for a year is horrendous.
I did think you were going to say pucks, to be honest, because I remember.
Oh, there's that, yeah. I've had that conversation earlier tonight, yeah. Yeah, let's not go there.
We're cringing in box every time we see one go over. In fact, I think Lance mentioned it this week. It's like Graham's going to be having a fit. I think Dom caught one and chucked it into the crowd. He said he'd be having that taken off his wage this week.
What a dick.
So
I was looking when Barnesy snapped his stick. I was looking for Graham's face. 400 quid that.
Honestly, it's around. But at the same time, let's be honest, it's like, all the things we've done this year building up to the season, we want the club to be right. We want it to be run right. And listen, if we've taken a little bit of a financial hit somewhere, great. But, it means everybody wearing the same matching gloves, then great. And that's for the betterment of the club, and the image of the club has to come first. And, everything else is reflecting that afterwards. It's great.
Just touching on the pucks and chucking them into the crowd for a second. You might remember this, Graham. John Adams, rest in peace. What a fantastic player he was. I think we can all agree that. On his first time at the rink watching a game before he started the following week, a puck came over the glass. He gave it to a little girl, and some steward at the time went and grabbed it back and needed it. I remember that.
It weren't on my watch, were it?
No, definitely not. That's a certain change.
No, but things like that, like what a lovely gesture that from somebody who's played hockey abroad at a decent standard. I think things like that are part of the education of the players, if you will, in terms of expectations, what's expected of them. The locker room, we've all seen the locker room and how good it is and how clean and tidy it is and how clean and tidy it has to be. And your kit has to be put a certain way and your skaters have to point a certain way. And it's that education of everybody, and that's what we do, and that's what we're striving to get to. So it's the image of the club that we're trying to, keep moving forward in the right way. As I said to you before, the fantastic vehicles that we've got, and the dressing room and the kits, it's all part of what we do and what's in our DNA, and everybody's got to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, touching on what you're saying about the kit there's a bit of an unsung hero in the background at the minute. He came on board last yeyear, so, I'll have a big shout out to Ali, who's doing an amazing job.
He's doing a phenomenal job.
Absolutely doing quality.
Yeah, in terms of thank yous. And listen, I regularly message Ali. I've seen him tonight at rink, actually. Just so you know, he's been and had 100 wood coat hangers delivered to his door today. So we have uniformity and every kit's hung up in the same way with a coat hanger. So little details like that. And what I would say in terms of Ali came on board as naive as anybody. What I said to him was, you do it your way. You find a way of working. There's no fixed way of doing it. He has done. He's grasped it, and he's took it to an absolute another level, which is so refreshing. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I've seen him working. We've seen him working hard, in the background. So I thought I'd give him a big shout out on this.
No, it's a good shout out. Thank you.
You're welcome. Obviously, like you mentioned about our partnership with Planet Ice and renting it off. I mean, from the background, it's, I think sometimes we're kicking and screaming, especially from my side with the sound and the music. How easy is that partnership with them, or is it difficult, or is it just we rent the ice arena and that's what it is?
Yeah, no. We're tenants. We pay away, and that's it to a certain extent. But I have to say, credit where it's due. Sometimes, people don't always see it, and you read a lot of stuff online that people are critical of Planet Ice per se. We don't really have that much dealings with the people at the top, apart from agreeing ice time contracts every now and again. But our relationship with the rink at the moment is probably better, stronger, healthier than it's ever been, and long may that continue. We've had new lights put in this week, which helps everybody. We've had discussions going forward about the match night presentation and how we can improve that. They're very receptive to what we're trying to do, move the product forward. End of the day, everybody benefits from that, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. That's fantastic. So coming up to this weekend, we've got 2 games. We've got Sheffield away on Saturday, and I think we've got Leeds Knights at home on Sunday. How do you see that forming and coming about?
I don't think anybody should take Sheffield too lightly away. I think it's a potential banana skin. I'm really looking forward to seeing Leeds at our place on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do with the venue and presenting the Halloween evening. A lot of work gone into it from everybody, from Nicole and from Shelley and everybody else. I'm really looking forward to that, and things like that make it so exciting to get to rink, isn't it, on a Sunday? I can't get to a game quick enough. As long as I've been there, God knows how long it is, I'm still so excited to get to the rink on a match day. Especially now I've got over my illness. I'm driving down the road at 80 mile an hour to get to rink quick enough in case I'm missing something.
No, it is. It's good. It's a good place, especially like when you're walking in through that door and you're walking past everyone and you see, you got Debbie and Cherry setting up the merchandise stand, getting everything out for everybody to buy and spend the well-earned bucks on. And then, walking down past the changing rooms and you've got people mulling about outside and talking and, just feeling that buzz as you're walking into the box. It's amazing,
It's a great building to be a part of at the moment, isn't it? And I can't see that changing. I think without sounding a little bit harsh, I think when we took the building on, we identified where there were certain issues that we've dealt with. We've moved them people on. The building now is buzzing. We've got the right people in. Everybody's on the same hymn sheet. And everybody's got smiles on their faces, which is that's the best thing in the world.
Just touching on Sunday then, what can fans expect from our spooktacular then? What's going to be in store for them off the ice?
I think you'd have to ask Nicole more about that and Shelley. One of the things that you might know this, you might not, I don't know. When you get into managing people, and from experience, my experience of that is that let people go, let them do them, give them a free rein, don't micromanage. I think we've had problems in the past where we might have micromanaged people. Let people do it. Give them a free rein, give them enthusiasm. If there's any issues, then come and see me and we'll chat about it later. And it's only an issue if somebody's making it an issue, isn't it? So like I said it from the beginning, Shelley's so vibrant at the minute with the community stuff, and Nicole likes getting involved in getting stuff. Brian Duckett's been absolutely fantastic, a breath of fresh air with the lights. I know he's got a few things planned with the lights. So again, I'd leave them to it, crack on with it, and I know it'll be a fantastic evening.
You touched on it there as well. So having your family involved in the club, Ollie's on the coaching staff, Nicole, your daughter-in-law, heads up the social media, your granddaughter Freya's head of Smoke Machine.
Yeah.
And what's that like for you then, both as an owner and as a family man, I guess? How important is that to you?
Well, I think, do you know what? I think, listen, because we're family and we spend a lot of time with each other, I think the way I work and my expectations rubs off on them a little bit. Certainly all skill set with the job he does every day at work, he's bringing that now into the coaching setup, and Nicole's skill set with what she does with the socials and getting involved. She's doing a bit with the merch as well, and so I've seen the girls round as well. Layla's doing the cheerleading back again, and seeing Freya run around the building like she owns the place. It's great. No, it's really for me. It's pride, isn't it, more than anything? And everybody loves doing what they do, and everybody's loving it, and they're on the same hymn sheet. It's great. It's fantastic.
Do you feel differently watching Ol coach than when he played?
Yeah, definitely. And I've said this before, and if you speak to people like Celia Cross, speak to people like Andy Streetley, you speak to people who are parents of players, they will tell you they do not get to watch a hockey match. You spend every single minute of every single game watching your offspring, good, bad, indifferent, their emotions, what they're going through, taking penalties, getting scored on. Well, you worry about them and their emotions. That now has been taken completely away from me, where since I'll stopped playing, he's gone into coaching, I can actually watch a game. It's great. It's like, and that's a weird thing to say because I've been watching hockey a long, long time. The last few years since All's retired, I can actually sit there and watch a game from start to finish without watching some individual and what they're doing and what they're thinking and worrying about them.
I was going to say, I identify with that as well. It's like, Ollie plays football on a Saturday and Sunday. And you're just there. You're trying to watch them more and how they react into the situations. And he's just taken on going at net on a Sunday. So being a goalkeeper for 30 years like myself, you've seen him come out and you're absolutely cringing when he's going at somebody's feet or something because you know what's coming with it. So I understand what you mean with when you're saying you're watching your child play. It's totally different, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as well. I think every single hockey parent will understand what I'm saying there and identify with that. Certainly, when you look at how the game used to be played and how it's played now, and all style of play, Graham will probably understand that more than he's seen his fair share of games with all playing that style that he played, and you're thinking, oh my God, are they going to get chucked out, or is a mass brawl starting somewhere, and usually the same suspect right in the middle of it, and you don't fear for him. I've seen things that make you worry your head off, and I stopped worrying about it. You can do it's blokes in stripy shirts, but the point of the matter is now that me personally, I can actually sit and watch a game and enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, can you give anything away about the future of Blackburn Hawks? The next couple of years, is there any aims or any goals that we'll be looking at? I mean, obviously,
no, there isn't, and by that, I mean, it's the old adage, isn't it? We take it week to week, game to game, blah 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 blah. But we don't. We know we're going in the right direction. The club's going to continue going in the right direction, and the fact that Dom brings these young, talented kids through, and I had a conversation this evening with Bobby Streetley. I was down at the rink tonight talking to Bob. The room was set up, and we were just generalising about the place, and we were talking about players possibly coming in and how do we attract them, and the fact that I think the setup that we've got will attract players. It can't not. People came training with us last week, and they were all talking about, bloody hell, that's some dressing room, that in it. So it's little things like that, foundations that you put in, and your work ethic and your professionalism that hopefully will continue these young lads to think, well, Blackburn's the place for me to, if it means, it's like Josh, isn't it? You know what I mean? Let's use Josh as an example. I think what a fantastic kid from a great family, from a fantastic, knowledgeable coach, which Nick is his dad, to have maybe, if it's his last year with us, great. 2 years with us and then move to the next level. It's like Owen Beck, isn't it? Liverpool being, at Rovers and getting ice time and game time, and that's how you learn, and that's your development, and that's your apprenticeship.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, is this something we're looking at doing? Like, obviously we seem to be coming that pathway for young lads. I mean, obviously we're looking at Alex Oldale as one of them. Tate Shudra's another. That Alex is already up at the elite. Tate Shudra's got one sort of foot in there. Josh is going that way as well. And we were looking to have Noah. Is this something that we're going to be providing? I think the thing is with it now, I think it's proven, isn't it? We've done it for 3 or 4 years now, and it's proven. And if we are, you've got to understand where you're at. You've got to understand your level of your club, where you're at. It would be very remiss of us to try and put handcuffs on people. You play for us, and we come first, and we do to a certain extent. But at the same time, there's a bigger picture, and you spend 2 years with us, and we develop you, and move you on, and we bring somebody else in. And how refreshing it is at the minute to say,
Liam and Darragh Sportforth doing what they do. They've been real assets. Do you know what I mean? So, that's what we're going to continue to do.
Definitely.
Just going back to Bobby for a second, I think that's a great example because his fourth spell at the club now. So he, as a player, he's seen it from where it was to where it is now and how it's changed over that time. And he's a bit of a nucleus as well, isn't he, I suppose, Bobby? He has strong links around the league and the hockey community as a whole, doesn't he? So if all these players are preaching about the atmosphere, the facilities, everything like that, it's just a massive positive, I think.
Well, I've known Bob a long time, and he's never been as happy as what he is now. He come back to the club, to a different club, but let's be honest, totally different club altogether. And the compliments that he pays us, and that's respected both ways. Like I said, I was in dressing room tonight. We had a long conversation about the club and how good it is, and how attractive a package it is, and it's brilliant to hear.
Obviously, like you just said there about a package for a player. If I were an up and coming player and Blackburn Hawks wanted me, what would I expect to get from yourselves? Obviously, I think we'd be looking at what would you offer? What would be that offer to come and play for Hawks?
Well, you've got to want to be here. That's the main thing. I would argue the toss with anybody. If you don't want to be here, listen, we're not interested. I'm not bothered. Go somewhere else. I'm not bothered because you won't get treated as good anywhere else in this league as what you get treated at this club. So first and foremost, you've got to want to be here. You've got to understand that, look, you're here to develop. You're here to get better. And we're here to help you get better and move you on. At the same time, you've got to then balance that with the older end group. You like your Bobbies and your Boyneses, and Andy, who's just really sad, who have played at elite league level and national league level, and they give us that stability as well. And they're not at the twilight of their careers, far from it, but they find a level that works for them. It works with the business, it works with the job, and the whole package works. It's like, for instance, it's not an hard sell. What's good about Blackburn Hawks? Well, have you seen the kits they have? Yeah. Have you seen their off-ice kits they have? Yeah. Have you seen the match night, pre-match entertainment they have? Yeah. Have you seen the crowds? Yeah. Have you seen them starlining 2 coaches they go on? Yeah. I think I want to be at Blackburn.
Have you seen the changing room as well?
The professionalism. We treat people how they need to be treated. We look after everybody, and we hope that they respect us enough to repay us with the performances they put in.
Obviously, Graham, you've been around ice hockey for a long time. What are your thoughts on the current state of ice hockey in the UK, and how do you see it evolving in the coming years?
For me personally, at this moment in time, I've lost a lot of interest. I've lost a lot of respect. I set off this year, prior to the season starting, with a vision and a plan that, wow, you know what? They're doing all right. They're trying. They're really, really trying. And then I had the wind completely kicked out of me. I have no dealings directly with England ice hockey these days. I leave that to Scott and maybe Darren. But me personally, I've lost zero faith. I've no trust in them whatsoever. I think I am sick to death of hearing rules of competition. We'll adhere to them every day of the week out of respect for the sport. But the governing body itself, the sport itself, have to start understanding that they're the people that set the rules, set the tone. They've got to start implementing their own rules because they're not doing and they haven't done.
Obviously, you've said that. Can we ask for any example, or is it just, all the whole round sort of things? I mean, obviously, we had the Nottingham thing a couple of years ago.
Well, it's pretty much based on the Nottingham thing, isn't it? Afterwards, D-side not turning up.
Yeah.
We've touched on it earlier. How much do you think it costs us to put a match on?
I think
we're into thousands. We're into thousands. We're into thousands and thousands of thousands. And the team didn't turn up for us. They were instructed to turn up. Oh. So therefore, I have zero respect for people that I did respect. You're not enforcing your own rules.
Yeah. So basically, if you're making rules, you've got to stick by what you're saying and what you've got.
The rules of competition. It does what it says on the tin. There's rules in place for a reason. They're there for a reason. It's not what I'm doing about it. What are you doing about it as a league? I dread to think what Nottingham thinks of the situation when they got done for it.
I suppose you need to have consistency, don't you, for in any walk of life, but especially when you're a governing body of a sporting league.
Rules are rules. They're for all of us. We all have to adhere to them. All of us.
So let's move on then. Let's talk about Graham Lomax. What makes you tick, Graham?
What does make you tick, Graham?
I think when you're growing up, no matter what age you are, I think all of us are influenced by things around us that happen, and they mold you into the person that you become, and they give you the backbone, the skill set, the honesty that you are. And I think you're molded by individuals. And with me, it was more the fact that I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, and there was a lot going on at that time. Certainly, I was no angel at school, but I had the best. I loved playing football. I had the best PE teacher ever, a bloke called Alan Cameron, who was really strict with me because I needed being strict with. But sadly, he passed away last year, and I had the utmost respect for that guy ever. He was my teacher, my mentor, and I thought he was a fantastic bloke. And obviously, my dad was the same. I'm cut from the same cloth, very disciplined, very organised, very professional. And then you look at people like, might be a bit controversial in a second, but you look at people like Brian Clough, massive, massive influence on me, big personality, and Margaret Thatcher. And I don't do politics. I've never voted in my life, but I thought Margaret Thatcher was such a strong individual character. And like I said, people see me as a leader, whether I am or not, I don't know. But what a strong individual, really broad shoulders, and again, without being sexist, and a woman too. So them sort of people influenced me growing up, and I think they helped make me the person that I am.
Again, not to take it down that political route, but she had a lot to prove, didn't she? Being the first female prime minister in the UK, and obviously, with the Docker situation and whatever else, she had to have
it was the minor situation, and I really do sympathise, and I've done some research on that, and I watched a video about it the other day, and yeah, it was horrific what happened, and closing the pits. But her as an individual to stand up to fight that and believe in what she wanted to do, and she'd never be bullied by anybody, never. And I like that in people. I like strong leaders. I like believing it. I like Donald Trump. I think he's a character, but I think he's a really strong person.
There are a lot.
I can see that.
I think some people as well, like you say, you go back to your PE teacher as well. I mean, my PE teacher called Fitchy, and he rates strong Cockney, and he was like yourself. He just told it how it was. There's none of this namby-pamby stuff in change. It's not like where you get reprimanded and suspended or even sacked for swearing in front of a child. He always told you what it was. So I do understand from the.
I think a lot of that, when I look back, is we said what makes you the person that you are today, and we go back to standards, don't we? Us guys have many a conversation about standards and how we like to do things, and it has to be that way. And I started off. I was listen. All's a catalyst for a lot that goes on with me. I was on the tail of all, if you will. My path into hockey was on the back of what All achieved. Yeah. I fell into the sport because All started doing it, and then my skill set got me involved in little ways. Like even myself and Paul Bentham, God rest his soul, when our kids were playing under 10s, we'd be lifting them over boards and tying their laces and helping them get dressed. And you probably can't do that these days, can you? But you know what I mean, in terms of getting their hockey kit on, things like that. And then, after that, we saw the opportunity to get involved in the roller hockey, and my connection with somebody else I have the utmost respect for was Mick Corns, who helped me run West Coast Wasp, and his view on things and his passion for the sport was exactly the same as mine. And you speak to anybody that knows about West Coast Wasp, they'll tell you how good they were, and two, how organised they were and the standards that they set, and then taking that into the Hawks when all started playing at 14, and the biggest problem that that I encountered was the club had probably the culture needed changing, and I might have mentioned this before and identified it before, that when, for me, and I said this before, that if you play for a semi-professional sports club anywhere, ice hockey, football, whatever, and you've got people paying to watch you play, you are very, very privileged. Very. Two, if you've got people asking, certainly these days, for selfies, or as it was back then, autographs, you are very, very privileged. That happens to very, very few people in the world, trust me. So that comes with responsibility. And you can't be turning out for the club the size of Blackburn Hawks when you're stinking of ale the night before. You can't be turning out with odd socks on. You can't be turning out with different coloured helmets on, because on Graham's shift. Well, it's factual. It's factual.
It is.
You've no respect for your teammates. You've no respect for the people in the crowds, and that is the one thing that I had to change as an individual when I got serious roles within the club.
Got the yellow lids coming next year then.
Yeah, one day it might happen. One day, we'll see. But again, when you look at, we were lucky at the time, because back then, with 14, 15, 16-year-olds that was pushing to come through with some quality.
Real production line, yeah. We
were playing. The kids were all back then playing A-League hockey. Your likes of obviously All, and with Nick Screeton, Bob All's lads, Harry and Jackson, with Sam Dunford, with a James Usherwood, with a plethora of kids that were knocking on the door. Obviously, All was probably one of the first ones of that generation playing at 14. And I'd identified when I went in there that we'd inherited a bit of an old boys club, and people were playing in their late 30s. And you're missing the bigger picture, is that you're stunting the growth of the club with quality trying to push through, and you're holding them back by you turning up every week playing with your mates, and one, you're not good enough, and two, you pass your sell-by date. And even to date, look, there's people that dislike me over it, but fact of the matter is, if you want to develop your club, sometimes you've got to move people on and bring people through, and that's just evolution at any club, surely, isn't it?
Yeah, you've always got to be looking for the next step, the next person, the next change.
Yeah, and I think as a club, it had certainly lost its way. I'm not saying, listen, a magic wand fixed it, but over time, I think we're where we need to be now.
Yeah, I think one big catalyst recently was when the EPL folded. I think a lot of people that watched hockey at our level, they didn't really like that. I think with all these teams dropping down, and it just became a bit disjointed, I think, for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, it did. It was a mess for 2 or 3 seasons, wasn't it?
Yeah. And just going back to
disproportionate, I think the word you're looking for.
Say that again, sorry.
Disproportionate, I think the word you're looking for.
Yeah, I'd definitely agree with that. And just going back to what you said about like the fans and people taking selfies, there was a certain elite league team last season that was charging £10
for a fist bump or something.
Yeah, and that's just ridiculous at any level. You want to be getting kids into watching hockey to progress the sport, because they'll continue to come back and watch it. And you never know, that little kid that's paying £10 to do that could have been the next Wayne Gretzky.
Sorry, Graham. At the moment, you know what really, really makes me feel good? When I see on the match day all them kids outside the tunnel dressing room leaning over, kids that are from wanting fist bumps and high fives. I find that so gratifying. It's unbelievable. I really, really do. And I know our players do embrace it, and you should do. You should do.
Yeah, it's amazing. And that's just grown and grown and grown over the past couple of years.
Yeah, but go back to what I said to you before about, when I took the club on, and I think a lot of people were treated with disrespect. I think the club wasn't run right. I'm not blaming all the players for that. I'm saying, there was certainly no management. There was no plan. It wasn't run right from the top right down to the bottom. And, I think it lost its way.
Yeah, I think what you're saying about them fist bumps and even like talking to kids and stuff and even adults in the car park or when they get on before the bus, that can just make the day, that can't it? Make the week. It's something that child will go talking about where the favourite players, the favourite players touch the hand in a way, aren't they? For the, they'll be telling all their friends about it at school.
Being a role model comes with responsibilities, doesn't it? You're somebody's
100%.
role model, you might not know it. Even speaking to somebody, someone I fell off. I fired from James Royds or James Riddock or whatever. You think nothing of it at the time, but you've got to put yourself in that kid's shoes. You are, whether you like it or not, whether you admit it or not, you're a role model.
Yeah, to us the people, but to other people they're like the heroes, aren't they? In a way.
Yeah, and I have to say, in all honesty, that probably this year and more so last year, that all my time at Blackburn Hawks, which is a long, long time, is the dressing room area counts for so much, and we have such a good bunch of lads, and the dressing room is vibrant, and that counts for so much in any sport.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good area, Same like when you see all the shirts getting bought with the favourite players' names on the back and things as well.
It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal.
So the next part of the podcast, it's always a good feature. This is when Hawks and hockey fans alike get to submit questions in. This first one is from Sean Vos. He asks, what does Graham think will be the biggest challenge going forward with the Hawks? And secondly, what's your favourite sandwich?
Biggest challenge going forward with the Hawks? I'm going to have to think about that. I'll come back to that in a second. What is Graham's favourite sandwich? I'm a night, what I'm like for simple food, none of that foreign muck, don't you?
It's whatever Tracy makes. It's whatever Tracy makes.
Bit of warm chicken on a tea cake, you can't go wrong, can you?
No.
Bit of stuffing as well.
Yeah. And what's going to be our biggest challenge going forward, I think? Biggest challenge going forward? Don't know. I like challenges. I like to be challenged. I think maintaining what we've got and improving it. I think that's going to be a challenge. Bettering what we already have, but we'll strive to do that.
This next one was sent in via email from Sophie in Blackburn. It's a two-parter. What makes the Hawks so special to Graham? And I think, to be honest, you've answered this on this episode and maybe another one as well. What's been the best thing you've achieved since being a co-owner of the Blackburn Hawks?
Best thing we've achieved, obviously winning 2 trophies last year were massive, weren't it?
Yeah.
And I said it before. I think last year was pivotal in the club's progress. The outpouring of emotion that weekend. Again, I've said it to you before, haven't I? That I don't think anybody really understand that 72 hours was torture for me. It should have been great. It should have been absolutely fantastic. It should have been, the final of all finals and winning it and you name it. But it nearly killed me. Honestly, it were horrible. Should be nice. Should be a nice feeling. But it was horrible. But we got there in the end. What was first part of the question again, Graham? Remind me.
What makes the Hawks so special to you?
I think there's lots of moving parts to that. I think obviously all's integral to that. See my son play as a 14-year-old and, follow him through the trials and tribulations. Being from Blackburn, it's my hometown. I think the passion that I've always had for the sport and like I said, all of us being from Blackburn and like we touched on before, isn't all the family now being involved as well? So I think that's a lot of it. Just all of it packaged up together. I don't think people actually understand how much it means to. It's not just me. It means a lot to all. Listen, when I'm gone, I think all will still be there. I think it means as much to all as it does for me. We're both very, very passionate about the club and about the town.
This next one then was sent in anonymously.
Nothing Darren Wilson, is it by any chance?
Tom Kavanagh.
Are you Ollie's dad or is Ollie your son? So, like, are you Graham Ollie Lomax's dad or Ollie Graham Lomax's son?
Yeah.
Finally, then, on that subject, we asked Ollie if he wanted to ask you something. I'll be honest, I was hoping he was going to chuck you under the bus a little bit with something, but he didn't. But he did want to say this, that he's incredibly proud of you and the effort that you put into the club.
So he should be. So he should be.
I think he's looking for a pay rise, isn't he? I think.
No, he gets it. he gets it. He gets it like I do. Like I said, just touched on it there, doesn't it? It means as much to. It's not just me. It's not about me. It means as much to all of us. I think. Look, whether I don't know whether the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and whether my mannerisms, my standards have rubbed off on all. I think they have. I think all's turned into from somebody that was 4 years ago when Carl and I really had to put his arm up his back to get involved. I think he's matured so much from that day to where he is now. And I think that's not just with the setup of the Hawks, but I think he's every day. He has a very, very responsible job, Monday to Friday, where he looks after people and situations in management. I think that's helped him. But no, I think whatever role all decides to in the future, and if I'm not here, the club's definitely in safe hands. And cheers all.
Just going to go back to like what you're saying about all there. It's funny when you watch him on the practice, you'll see him alone, like just stood in a corner of the rink with a stick in his hand and doing a bit with a puck. I think me and Graham have both had conversations. I've asked him and he said no, but do you still think he misses playing? Do you still think he's got that hunger inside him to play again, or do you just literally think he's embracing the coaching side of things a little bit more, now?
To be honest with it, it's not something we discuss. Again, people have a misconception of me and all. He hasn't lived here for years. He's married with 2 kids. I don't see him every day. I see him very, very sporadically. It's not something we've talked about. When I see him on practice doing what he does, I know he's happy in his environment that he's in. I know he's comfortable in his own skin. I know he loves the role of being assistant coach. The question was, would he ever play again? I don't think so. That ship's now long, long sailed.
Yeah.
But he's getting as much out of it now as what. I don't think he could play these days. I think the game's changed.
Yeah, 100%.
It's evolved. Would I like to see him play? Yeah, I would. I'd love to see. I actually commented the other day, we were in a WhatsApp group and we were talking. I can't repeat what we're talking about because me and the directors and the coaches have wicked sense of humours. And I just sat and said, we all miss all about, and that was based on what he'd do and what he'd get away with and what he'd not get away with and what he'd try to do. And them characters aren't allowed to play that role anymore, are they? But no, he's loving the role. He's loving it, and yeah, it's good. It's good for everybody. It's good for all of us. It's healthy.
Oh, fair play. And what's on Graham's Spotify playlist at the minute?
Listen. I struggle with. I know you might find this hard to believe, but I struggle with technology, don't I? Yeah, I struggle with. Why does Spotify not let you jump songs after a bit? Why does it stop you doing that? Things like that.
It's too tight to pay. You got to pay for that.
I don't have a Spotify or a playlist. I like certain things, and I think people would be shocked if they, as a bloke of 59, if they do what my music tastes were. I don't know. Listen, I like a lot of 80s stuff. I like listening to OMD. I like listening to Squeeze, but I like a lot of mashups.
DJ from Mars.
DJ
from Mars. Yeah. You know what I mean? I like believe might find that a bit weird for a 59-year-old bloke, but like whatever floats your boat, innit?
My Facebook Messenger would say different.
You just get a YouTube link, don't you? And then
that's it.
What are your thoughts on this?
entrance for Sunday, lads.
you like what you like, don't you? You know what I mean? It's get it car and get roof down and get tunes banging out. It's right, isn't it?
Definitely.
Can we just talk about that entrance and like it's superb, but like I'm a little bit biased because I had some part in putting it together, but it's just a fantastic thing to watch. I think the whole the whole experience of it, from the lights to the music, the smoke, it just really builds that atmosphere, doesn't it?
Can I be honest with you and say that my first ever ice hockey match that I went to, Blackburn Hawks, obviously, well, Blackburn Blackhawks as it was, took all with me, of course, as you would do. And you know, all I remember from that night, I couldn't tell you who they played against, couldn't tell you what the score were, but I remember lights, I remember smoke, I remember music, and that resonated with me to this day. And I think putting on, I won't say it's a production, it's not rocket science to do it, is it? But putting the effort in and the time, and you're going to go away and say, you know, I really enjoyed that, I'll go back. I remember there was a time not that long ago when I walked away from the rink altogether. I remember going to see an hockey match, and that's all it was. There was nothing else. We had a very, very poor team. There was nothing else, just an hockey match on. It was terrible. I thought I was done with the sport, but lucky enough, I got called back.
Yeah, I think it's we discussed this on Sunday, didn't we? That you know, when Graham rang me when they were driving back from Widnes on Sunday, and you know, we were just discussing about the music and stuff that we play. You know, it's like each week I listen to the radio, you know, whether I'm going into taking Cherry to work or going to work myself or sat here, and I'm constantly writing down songs just so I can get, you know, just so I can keep it fresh. So I dare say a lot of these places you go to, you know, they probably play the same old. So that's what I try and do. You know, I've started writing songs down already. You know, I'm trying to come up with ideas for, you know, maybe just chucking a load of Halloween stuff at one of the periods on Sunday rather than doing the, you know, the dance of the rock side of things. So
yeah, well, if you think as well, like we've got going forward with two theme nights booked in already. We've got potentially a third one. We've got Halloween this week. We've got. You know, I'd like to see, and I haven't had a chance to speak to you about this. You know, might do it now while we're here. You know, we'll do something else. It doesn't have to be a theme night, does it? But we can do I don't know, 90s, 80s, whatever. We can, and I think people really like that and appreciate it, and that engagement and that involvement, isn't it? You know, you look up at seats now and you see everybody. They're in it, aren't they? They're loving it.
Dancing and whatever else. You know, I love that. I absolutely love that third period when, you know, everybody shouts Mayo when you do the boom, boom, boom. And, you know, the Who Let the Dogs Out. You know, you see them all up in the stands doing the Macarena and the Cha-Cha Slide. And, you know, it's absolutely amazing that, you know, you're making, like, what we're at this weekend, 650 people dance along with you. So,
I remember, I know we spoke about the hum, and I think when you've got something that it associates you together, doesn't it? People associate you with that, and I think if you chopped and changed every 12 months, it wouldn't work, would it?
No. I think the
fact. Go on, sorry.
I'm going to say I think the introduction bit. I think, you know, I think we're at last Remembrance Sunday when, you know, we came up with the Churchill sort of one. Unfortunately, I were ill that day and I couldn't make it, but from the people I spoke to, they said just the Churchill speech alone were haunting. Build that atmosphere alone before I think it was the Undertaker.
We did a Sean Bean, didn't we?
From we World did.
War II. We did a Sean Bean and things like that. Yeah. You know, it's great, isn't it? Like, you know, that people understand it and, you know, and buy into it. But actually, the home it just works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to find something that doesn't go on forever, that goes up and comes back down. It's hard. It's really, really hard to find something that works. And why nobody else has ever caught on to the hum, I've no idea.
Lead from the front?
I don't know. I have heard it once in the NHL.
Copied off us, weren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I'm one of these strange people that stays up till stupid o'clock at morning watching the NHL. So, you know, I even get ideas off them for the music to play.
Before we finish, can I just say how good and in-depth was when you had Darren Wilson on?
Fantastic episode, yeah. If you're not listening to it, listen back to it.
Is my nose growing?
Yeah.
Growing like Pinocchio?
No, not so. Do you know that when we come off, we said that we're one of your favourite ones to do.
Really?
You know, everyone's been good, but Darren's, we're just like a different side of things. We're like every week we're talking to players. So Darren brought a whole different insight, especially like, you know, with the women's hockey as well and the academy. You know, give a big shout out to both them guys as well. You know, so
to be fair, you know, the guys we've got around me, Darren, Steve, Scott, Mark, honestly, can't. I thank them every week because I thank everybody, don't I? But they're brilliant. They're really, really good.
One final question then before we let you go. This weekend, a doubleheader, Sheffield away on the Saturday, and then the Spooktacular.
Yeah.
Leeds Knights 2 on the Sunday. What are you expecting from those games?
Tough game Saturday, tougher than everybody envisages. I'll be happy to get in there and get out with something.
Yeah.
And then I think we owe our supporters a performance. I don't think we played bad Sunday, but I think we owe them. And if the beauty about this bunch this year is that when they've had a down, they've come back with an up.
100% agree with that, yeah.
Sunday, I couldn't praise them enough. I thought they really, really came out the blocks. And we have to win our home games. It's as simple as that. You know, when we've got nearly 700 people in the building, I think we've got to put on a show and a performance. So I think they've enough about them to do that at home. So I'm really looking forward to Sunday. I'll be down there at dinner time again, getting everything ready like I do, you know.
Playing darts in the dressing room.
Well, can't prove that, can you? The dartboard there doesn't mean I play, does it?
He throws the darts, it don't mean he's playing.
Hang on a minute. There's only one person in this club had an 180 in there, and you're talking to him.
It was fantastic when I did that.
Yeah, Graham.
Sticking him in the treble 20s don't count, Graham.
Brilliant. Right. Well, thank you for your time, Graham. Thank you for coming on the podcast. We know how busy you are, both with your work life, family life, and also Hawks life as well. So,
funny enough, I'm always stuck for something to watch on telly. I'm just getting into Shoresy.
Great, unbelievable. Me and Ollie joke about that training sessions. It's such a good watch.
I'm about 5 episodes deep, season 1 at minute. So that's me.
What's
program of choice at the moment. Funny when it's watching a hockey program, there's a shocker.
What's that on?
It's an American, it's Canadian, I think, isn't it? So it's on certain streaming services that you.
Yeah, I don't know what I watch it on. I don't do technology, but I watch it.
Other services are
Sky.
available.
I think it's on Sky.
As long as the remote
Skybox.
So right, I'll have a look.
Well, thanks again for your time, Graham, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, fellas. Always welcome anytime.
Cheers, Gratz. Thank you very much. See you Saturday, Sunday.
Hawks Talk.